Hey guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to walk through doing an oil change on a 2018 E400. This is my wife's car. We've had it just exactly a year. It's got 25,000 miles on it, and this is the W213 chassis code. And it's got the 3-liter twin turbo V6, which is a very popular engine for Mercedes right now. You're going to find this engine in the C class, the E class, several of their SUVs, the GLCs, the GLEs, etc. And so walking through this on this 2018 E400 is going to be almost identical for those other chassis. So I thought this would be helpful, especially if this is your first time attempting an oil change on your newer Mercedes. I hope this is helpful. I'm doing this a little bit different than what you would typically see. Most guys or several owners will buy an oil extractor that basically sucks the oil from the engine through the top. I'm a bit older school in that I like to drain the oil from the sump, from the oil pan, and that's what I'm going to show you today. This car does have a 13 millimeter oil drain plug, and it's quite accessible once you remove the 2 engine shields. For me, I prefer this approach because it gets all the little bit of sludge that might be in there or any little small debris that tends to settle at the bottom of the pan. It just kind of flows out with the warm oil, and I always recommend changing the oil once the engine is up to temperature. Of course, you have to be careful you don't burn yourself. That way the oil viscosity is very high, and so it flows easily. And so hope this helps, and let me show you what I've done. So the car is jacked up. I got blocks in the wheels. Here's the middle engine tray or shield, and it's held in place with these 8 millimeter self tappers, quite a few. And then the lower or the rear engine tray, let me just climb into the car, is right here. You can see that it's really long and it fits in under the transmission just ahead of the exhaust. Okay, so on this car, here is the oil sump, and you can see there's still a few little drops coming out, and you can see it's fairly accessible once you remove those trays. There's the oil plug, the 13 millimeter oil plug. I believe it's an M10 by 1.5. I certainly recommend buying a new one every time you do an oil change. These are typically torque to yield fasteners, so it's a one-time use. Although I know guys have reused them without any issues, but just a precautionary maintenance measure that I do is I buy a new oil drain plug and copper washer. So yeah, once you've got that plug loose, this car holds 7 quarts of oil. I use the Mobil 040, excuse me, and you'll see that actually the direction of the flow out of the sump is opposite to of how you would typically jack up a car. Most cars have the drain direction towards the rear. This is towards the front. So once you jack up the car and remove that plug, I tend to lower the car back on its wheels, so that way I get all the oil flowing out towards the front of the car. I have 2 basins that I use just because it's 7 liters like I mentioned, and you will get a little bit of oil here on the cross member, so just have lots of shop rags ready to clean things up after the fact. And you can't have enough cardboard boxes, let me tell you guys. So here's keeps your driveway cleaner and all the old oil from spilling on the concrete or your asphalt driveway. So that's the bottom side. It's still draining, as you can see. I'll probably let it drain for another half hour or so and then start putting everything back together. But that's the bottom side. On the top side, for the filter, let's show you that. So fairly straightforward. Remove the engine cover And there is, let me show you the actual top of the oil filter. So here it is here. This is the top of the oil filter. And then I have a tool that a 3/8 ratchet with an extension fits on top of that like that. See, it fits really nicely. And that way I can loosen it and then tighten this back on the engine. So these are really inexpensive, and definitely if you have a Mercedes, it's worth having this in your tool selection, or your selection of tools. Here is the new oil filter. So it's an HU7025Z, and this is really fairly simple. You pull the oil filter out and you just snap this one in place or slide this one in place. It has the O-ring already slipped on and it's a friction fit. So fairly straightforward. The only thing you really have to do is put on a new O-ring, which is supplied with the oil filter. Just slip it on right here on the top of the housing here, on top of the threads. There's the old one right there, and here's the new one already slipped on. I use a jeweler screwdriver, so that way it doesn't damage the O-rings and it's easy to pry it on and off. So you guys should definitely get one of these or a set of these. And really that's it. And coming back to the car, let me pull off the old oil filter. Here's the old oil filter, guys, and like I said, it's a friction fit. It just comes straight out, so you can see. And then I just kind of clean up the inside area right here, the aluminum housing, and definitely use, if you do that, use some rags that don't leave any lint behind. So lint-free rags, and then just kind of clean up that old oil. I think the oil interval in these cars is every 10,000. Here's the new Mobil 1040. And so yeah, so that's really it in a nutshell. It doesn't take that long. It's not too involved. And I hope the video helps. So I hope everybody's doing well and enjoy the holidays and the Christmas. Be safe. And thanks for the support, and stay tuned, and I hope you subscribe. Take care.